In the previous section, we have studied the colligative properties of dilute solutions and the relationship with the molar masses of the solute. The different relations between colligative properties and molar mass are applicable only to the solutions of non-electrolytes. So whatever we have learned, it is only applicable to non-electrolytes and are based on the following assumptions. What are the assumptions? The solution is dilute, so that Raoult's law is obeyed. Second assumption is the molecular state of the solute should remain unchanged. That is, they should not undergo dissociation or association in solution. That is, when you are adding a solute, it should not dissociate or associate. Only then it is valid. When we measure the colligative properties of electrolytic solutions or the solutions where the above assumptions are not valid, we can find that there are some discrepancies between the observed and the calculated values of colligative properties. Consequently, the molar masses of such solutes as calculated from experimentally measured values of colligative properties differ widely from their actual molar mass. There will be a difference between the actual molar mass and experimentally observed mass. Such substances, therefore, are said to exhibit abnormal molar masses in solutions. So, as we have seen earlier, repeating it once again, molar mass of the solute can be calculated by measuring colligative properties. Sometimes the molecular mass calculated by this method is either lower or higher than the expected normal value, and hence it is called the abnormal molar mass. Why? Because it can undergo association or dissociation in solution. So when there is no association or dissociation, the value will be same, but when there is association or dissociation, means the values will change. The first we learn about the association of solute particles. In association of solute particles, we can take certain solutes undergo association in their solutions. Certain particles will undergo association in the solutions. As you can see here, molecules of acetic acid dimerize in benzene due to hydrogen bonding. Here, the number of particles is reduced because when you are adding acetic acid in benzene, it will undergo dimerization. That is, two molecules will be held together by hydrogen bonding. As a result, the number of particles will decrease. And hence, the molar mass of the, we know the molar mass of the solute is inversely proportional to the colligative property. From the formula, you can find the molar mass of the solute is inversely proportional to the colligative properties. As the colligative properties and molar mass are inversely related to each other, the experimental values of molar masses in such case will be higher than the normal values. That is, molar mass is inversely proportional to colligative properties. Colligative property is directly proportional to the number of particles. In this case, during association, that is when acetic acid is added, it dimerizes and the number of particles decreases. So, colligative property decreases and hence the molar masses shown will be higher than the normal values. Hope this is clear to you. Now, in the first part, you can find here the ionic compounds. So, their ionic compounds we know undergoes dissociation. So, what happens during dissociation of solute particles? Electrolytes like acids, bases and salts dissociate in aqueous solution to form two or more ionic particles. Therefore, the number of particles in solutions of such substances will increase. So, potassium chloride, sodium chloride, when dissolved in water, it dissociates into Na plus and Cl minus, K plus and Cl minus. So, the number of particles increases. So, as I told you earlier, molar mass from the formula, molar mass is inversely proportional to colligative property. And colligative property is directly proportional to the number of particles. Here, on dissociation, when the number of particles increases, the colligative property increases and the molar mass decreases. So, here you can find that the molar masses of such substances will be less than their normal values. For example, potassium chloride dissociates into K plus and Cl minus when dissolved in water. So the number of solute particles in the solution would be double the number of particles if no dissociation had taken place. Hence, it is expected to have a molar mass equal to half of its normal molar mass. That is 74.5 is the molar mass of KCl. But as the number of particles increases, colligative properties increases, so molar mass should decrease. So it should be half. So 74.5 divided by 2, it should be 37.25 grams per mole. However, the molar mass of KCl is found not as 37.25, it is found to be little greater, 40.3. Now, what is the reason for that? The difference in the two values is due to the fact that there are strong attractive forces present in the oppositely charged ions of the strong electrolyte. So these forces will make the two ionic pairs, oppositely charged ionic pairs, to hold together. Thus, although they are dissociated, because of the strong force of attraction, the value shown is a little greater than what it should be actually. So hope this is clear to you. So when there is this association of solutes, the experimentally determined molar mass is always higher than the true values. During dissociation, the molar mass is always lower than the true value. Now, in 1886, Van 't Hoff introduced a factor I called Van 't Hoff's factor, as you can see here, to express the extent of association or dissociation of solutes in solution. Now, what is I? I is equal to the normal molar mass by observed molar mass. Normal molar mass can be represented as capital M subscript small n. Observed molar mass can be expressed as capital M subscript O, MO. So in case of association, remember association example, acetic acid will dimerize. There is a number of particles decreases on dissolution in a solvent. So colligative property also decreases. Colligative property and molar mass is inversely proportional. So the molar mass shown will be greater. So during association, the observed molar mass being more than the normal, the factor I has value less than 1. But in case of dissociation, the Van 't Hoff's factor is more than 1 because the observed molar mass has a lesser value than the normal molar mass. Now, if there is no association or dissociation, then what would be I? I would be equal to 1 because normal molar mass would be equal to the abnormal molar mass. Value of I is less than 1 for association and I is greater than 1 for dissociation, as I had explained earlier. So Van 't Hoff modified these equations. Before that, let me tell you, I is equal to, as I told you, normal molar mass by observed molar mass. I can also be equal to the observed value of colligative property by the normal value of colligative property, assuming no association or dissociation, because as I told you, colligative property is inversely proportional to molar mass. So when I is equal to normal molar mass by observed molar mass, in terms of colligative property, I is equal to observed value of colligative property divided by normal value of colligative property, assuming no association or dissociation. Or another way to calculate I is equal to number of particles after association or dissociation, because number of particles is equal to the directly proportional to the colligative property. So I is also equal to number of particles after association or dissociation divided by number of particles before association or dissociation. Hence, the introduction of Van 't Hoff's factor modifies the expression for the colligative properties as follows. So we have to introduce an I factor if there is association or dissociation. So the relative lowering of vapor pressure P1 naught minus P1 by P1 naught is equal to, you have to introduce an I factor for electrolytes, that is I into X2. Similarly, for elevation in boiling point, the formula is delta TB is equal to KB into M. For substances which undergoes dissociation or association, we have to introduce the I factor, so it becomes I into KB into M. For depression in freezing point also, delta TF is equal to I into KF into M. That is, if there is no association or dissociation, I is equal to 1. So delta TB is equal to KB into M, and delta TF is equal to KF into M. So this I factor is introduced for those substances which undergoes association or dissociation. The last is osmotic pressure. You know the formula of osmotic pressure is pi is equal to CRT. So introducing the I factor, Van 't Hoff's factor, it becomes pi is equal to I into CRT.